These have got to be. I mean, you can't. I have to walk all the way this way just to get the whole thing in frame. I mean, look how those are absolutely massive. In the middle of Kansas, too. Goodness gracious. There's more over there, too. Yeah, what do you think?
This weekend didn't go quite as planned. So we were gearing up for a really fun video. We were getting ready to go, and we got a phone call that said, hey, we're going to have to cancel the job, which sucks. Totally understand, but it sucks. So instead of letting this bad news ruin our weekend, we decided to call an audible and take a day trip to a place that we've never been before. The unfortunate part is that where we were going was a 4-hour car trip from where we were at. And I don't do very well in a car that long. So the whole time I'm sitting in the car going, that sucks that this had to happen. Sucks that we had this job canceled. But I'm really excited to just check out a place that I've never been before. Of course, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is this going to be worth it? Are we going to waste our time going to a place and it being lackluster, or we're not going to be able to get anything at all? I mean, my creative juices have been built up and ready to go for this. And now I'm just thinking, this just might be a waste. This just might be a complete dud.
These have got to be. I mean, you can't. I have to walk all the way this way just to get the whole thing in frame. I mean, look how those are absolutely massive. In the middle of Kansas, too. Goodness gracious. There's more over there, too. Yeah, what do you think?
So we navigate to the location. It was crazy. We had to drive like 12 miles down a dirt road, just pure dirt road in the middle of nowhere. And the whole time I'm going, good gravy. I hope nothing happens. I hope we don't break down, or we get caught in some kind of weird wildfire, or some Spanish bull decides to run into my truck. Anything could happen out in the middle of nowhere. So then we pull up to this place, and I just couldn't believe it. This place was pretty incredible. we're at a place called Monument Rocks. They dub it Little Jerusalem here in Kansas. But the rocks were massive, just huge. I mean, when you're standing right at the base of them and you look up, goodness gracious, they were huge and they were beautiful. They had texture. They were tall. They just had a character about them that I was just really excited about. I just couldn't help but just have a huge smile on my face because it was just a cool location to be at. So we pulled out the camera, we walked around, we walked through this big valley of rocks, and I was just shooting as many photos as I could. I was doing my best just to take it all in. So we were there for about an hour, and needless to say, it was definitely worth it. So we decided to wrap up, hopped in the truck, and started making our way back home. We started hearing some weird noises coming from the back of the truck. Thinking not much of it, maybe the ground, the road itself wasn't very good. Maybe we might have, hit something small or whatever. So we keep on going. And next thing you know, sensor goes off on the dash of the truck, telling us that we need to check our tire pressure. Okay, no big deal. Pop my head out the window just to see which tire it was specifying, and the tire looked good from there. It didn't look like anything was low or flat or anything. We were watching the PSI gauge, and it was dropping. The number was dropping 1 pretty much every second until it hit 0. And then we felt the truck shake just a little bit. Decided to pull over on the side of the highway, collect ourselves for a minute. So I get out of the truck and I checked the area where the gauge told me that the tire was flat. It told me it was on my passenger side. I looked at both tires, I felt them, nothing was flat. Got back in the truck, I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why is that gauge doing that? Why is it telling us something when in reality it's not? So they were like, okay, let's just go to the other side and check. So the driver's side was on the side of the highway where the cars were going back and forth. So very carefully, I just walked around the back of the truck, and sure enough, the back driver's side tire was flat. Dug around the truck for a little bit, tried to figure out maybe if I had some kind of jack or anything to be able to, jack the truck up, get the tire off, and then put on the spare. Luckily, I had a spare, and a full-size spare. We're not talking about a donut. So my job was trying to figure out exactly how to get this flat tire off and the spare on so we can make it back home. Well, I had nothing. Couldn't be able to do it. So we ended up calling somebody. We ended up calling a local guy named Jack. He came out with his truck, helped us get the truck jacked up, tire off, put the spare on, and we were ready to go. So a huge shout out to Jack for helping us out in that situation. And we also had a little help from the sheriff as well. So we do shout out as well to the sheriff for being there, making sure that everything was going smoothly. But we are back on the road, headed home, and 4 hours later, we were back in our beds, just trying to take in everything that happened that day. So what was supposed to be just a routine few-day trip to make a video turned out to be an adventure. And one day of being in the car for 10 hours, going to see something that we've never seen before that actually turned out to be extremely cool, and dealing with a few hiccups along the way. Okay, so what's the takeaway here? What's the whole point of this story? Well, a couple things to keep in mind. One, you can have all the plans in the world. You can check all the boxes and make sure that everything is going to be just ready to go, good to go, and you just have no control over what's going to happen. And so you have to be okay with being able to have a plan that is not happening and then make adjustments from there. And second thing is, like, when moments like that happen, really just take time to just kind of sit in them. Like, it's hard because stressful times, you're losing out on possibly, income that you were expecting and now you're not getting it, or you might run into car trouble, or, plane might be delayed or something like that, but you just never know. When one door closes, you just have no idea what another door may bring. When another door opens, you just have no idea what's on the other side. Now, am I upset that everything happened? Absolutely not. Things happen. You have to be understanding, especially in this career when you're doing freelance, photography or any kind of content creation. You have to be okay with the fact that things may just not work. So I hope this was somewhat encouraging. I hope you can kind of feel a little bit of what we were feeling, but I hope you can take away from this that, just be okay in the good and the bad, because there are learning opportunities in both. It takes those bad situations for us to be able to appreciate the good.